What's going on with my husband? I rushed to the hospital after getting a call that Colby was in a car accident. Ignoring my frantic state, the doctor gave me a puzzled look. We just explained the situation to his wife. What? Wife? Caught off guard, I momentarily forgot about my concern for Colby and blurted out in disbelief. Who else could he have talked to, if not me? His wife? I was so confused I couldn't move. My name is Cassie, a 32-year-old office worker. Colby, my husband, is 35. We met through friends and got married. Though we didn't have kids, we made up for it by spending quality time together, going on trips and out to dinner on weekends. But 3 years into our marriage, things changed. Colby's job always involved a lot of travel, but it increased even more, spilling into the weekends. And as he spent more time away, he became distant. One evening at dinner, I brought it up. You're always working. Can't you help around the house a bit more? We both worked, so we used to share chores, but lately it's been mostly me. What's with that tone? I'm working hard, you know. Angrily, Colby threw his fork on the table. I was speechless. I'm going to bed. He stormed off to the bedroom. I felt something was off with sudden outburst. Come to think of it, he hasn't been talking about work lately. He used to bring souvenirs from his trips and share stories, but not anymore. Is he really working? Though I tried not to overthink it, the thought cast a dark shadow over my heart. A week later, while Colby was in the shower, I brought him some clothes. I'll leave your pajamas on the shelf. All right. As I was about to leave, I noticed his phone on the shelf. Suspicion growing, I found myself taking his phone to the living room. I'll put it back before he's done showering. I quickly checked his emails, WhatsApp, and photos but found no evidence of cheating. I felt relieved but also guilty. You went through my phone, didn't you? Caught by Colby, I was speechless. After checking the call phone in the living room, you should have returned it to the same place immediately. I have tracking enabled. Someone used it while I was showering. It had to be you. I'm sorry. You've been acting strange and I thought you were cheating. Unable to deny it, I apologized sincerely. Besides, when I checked the contents of my call phone, I felt a little anxious. Find anything? Nothing. Of course not. I'm just working hard. I feel awful being suspected. I'm really sorry. I can't live with you anymore. Let's divorce. His sudden declaration left me stunned. I'm sorry that I looked at call phone without permission, but I can't understand it when you suddenly tell me that you want to get divorced. Wait, can we talk about this? If you show sincerity, maybe I'll reconsider. Smirking, Colby waited for my response. From now on, you'll do all the cleaning, cooking, and laundry. Basically, you'll be the housekeeper. All this just because I looked at your phone? I'm hurt. The least you could do is listen to me. His demand was unreasonable, but what I did was wrong too. Still, I couldn't agree. I already apologized. Words aren't enough. Show me through actions. Or do you want to divorce? Fine, I get it. For the time being, I reluctantly agreed to Colby's terms, thinking he would eventually forgive me. It had been a month since then. I was packing for Colby's business trip the next day. He left all the packing to me while he was busy with his work phone. Hey, have you reconsidered to divorce? Yeah, I'll think about it after this trip. Lately, I had been doing all the chores and even paying the bills, all at Colby's request. Honestly, I was stressed and exhausted. I couldn't keep this up, so I felt relieved at his words. I wish we could go back to taking trips together. I was lost in thought as I packed his luggage. But that Sunday afternoon, when Colby was supposed to return from his trip, things took a sudden turn. I got a call from the hospital. "Are you a relative of Colby?" "Yes. Colby is unconscious after a car accident." The nurse had found our home number in Colby's schedule book and called me. I rushed out of the house and headed to the hospital. "Please, let him be okay." At the hospital reception, I was led to a conference room. "How's my husband?" I was so confused I could hear my own heartbeat. "We just explained the situation to his wife." "What?" I was shocked at the doctor's unexpected words. "What do you mean?" According to the doctor, Colby was in the car with another woman when the accident happened. Both were unconscious, but the woman woke up first and claimed to be his wife. I showed my ID to prove I was his wife and finally got information on his condition. Fortunately, Colby's life wasn't in danger. He was still unconscious, but only had a broken leg and would need to stay in the hospital for a while. Relieved, I went to his room and was stunned by what I saw. A young woman was holding Colby's right hand, tears in her eyes. It looked like they were close. So, she's the one who claimed to be his wife? She didn't notice me, probably thinking I was visiting another patient. I forgot my relief at knowing Colby was okay and was consumed by rage. He said he was on a business trip but was cheating? Was I the only one thinking we could start over? Before I knew it, my fists were clenched, my nails digging into my palms. I quietly left the room. I waited in a corner of the hallway, and soon she appeared. "Who are you?" She looked puzzled, and I said clearly, "I'm Colby's wife." "What?" "He's single, stop lying." She glared at me, thinking I was Colby's mistress. No matter how much I explained, she wouldn't believe me. So I showed her our wedding photos saved on my phone and other evidence that I was indeed his wife. "You're really his wife?" "Yes." "I'm so sorry." Finally convinced, she started to talk about herself. Her name was Effie. She worked at one of Colby's client companies. He had lied to her about being single and they had been dating for a year. They were even planning to get married soon and had bought a condo together. "He bought a condo?" "Yes, we went to see it together. He said he'd pay for everything." I was shocked. He must have been using the money I was providing for our living expenses to buy that condo. I told the doctor I was his wife because I didn't know he was married. "I'm really sorry." Effie apologized sincerely, her face on the verge of tears. Before talking to her, I wanted to punish his mistress, but now I felt more pity for her than anger. She was also a victim of Colby's lies. "Please, lift your head. You were deceived by him, just like me. Instead, I have a favor to ask." I made a proposal to Effie, who looked at me hesitantly. "How about we get revenge on Colby together?" She looked puzzled by my sudden suggestion. "I don't want to be with a liar like Colby anymore." "Right." Effie hesitantly agreed to my proposal. "I'm sure she has some anger towards him too." "I can't let it end like this either." Then it's settled. We grinned and shook hands, starting to prepare our revenge. From the next day, I took care of Colby as if nothing had happened. Effie also visited him when I wasn't around, so he didn't suspect a thing. He continued to treat me poorly. Finally, the day of his discharge arrived. I drove him home. "Drive more carefully. I'm injured, you know. You're so useless." He sighed loudly and started fiddling with his phone, probably texting Effie. He's so carefree, not knowing anything. I slightly smiled and sped up the car. When we arrived home, I rang the doorbell. Colby smirked. "No one's home, you know." But today was different. "Welcome home." To his surprise, Effie opened the door. "What? Why?" Confused, Colby was led into the living room. Even after sitting down, he was speechless, staring at us. What's going on? We met the day you were hospitalized. We've become good friends. What are you two planning? We're not planning anything. We just want to talk about the future. As Effie and I sat across from him, he started to lose his composure. What's going on? You've been having an affair, right? You pretended to be on a business trip but were actually with her. You even bought a condo to live together. You threatened divorce just to get rid of me and be with Effie, didn't you? Colby was silent for a moment, then defiantly looked at me. Of course, I'd prefer a younger woman like Effie over an old hag like you. So what? You're going to divorce me? I nodded. We were planning to get married soon, so it works out, right, Effie? He smiled at her, but she wasn't smiling back. I won't marry you, Colby. What? I almost burst out laughing at his shocked expression. You lied to Effie about being single, and you still think you can marry her? But you are leaving me, Effie. We have no obstacles now. Effie sighed deeply. After seeing how you treat your wife, I'd never want to marry you. I'd probably end up the same way. I wouldn't do that to you, Effie. His pleading tone made my skin crawl. He glared at me, trembling with anger. Why did you bring Effie here? You're making her misunderstand. Fix this. Actually, I'm glad I could show her the truth. What? Also, here's the divorce paperwork. I've already signed and stamped it. You just need to do your part and expect a claim for damages. What? What's this? Colby must have been daydreaming about his happy life with Effie, never considering the financial consequences. Of course, you'll have to pay. You had an affair. I've got plenty of evidence, including WhatsApp messages and photos from Effie. No way out now. You're kidding. I'll also be seeking damages since you deceived me into thinking we were in a relationship with the intent to marry. You can't be serious. Being with a cheater like you makes my skin crawl. Don't ever contact me again. Between Effie and me, you're looking at about $4,000 in damages, just so you know. Initially trembling with anger, Colby's knees gave way, and he started to shake with anxiety. That's impossible. I just bought a condo. That's not our problem. As we looked down at him coldly, he hesitated between Effie and me, finally crawling to my side. I was wrong, okay? It was a momentary lapse. I'll never cheat again. Please, give me another chance. He looked up at me, his hands clasped as if praying. Stand up. Seeing his hopeful expression, a wave of disgust came over me. You were going to leave me. How can I trust anything you say? Don't say that, please. From now on, contact me through my lawyer. Oh, and about that condo, it's marital property, so we'll be dividing that too. What? We left our lawyer's business card on the table in front of him and stood up to leave. Wait, what am I supposed to do if both of you leave me? My leg isn't even healed yet. Ah! We heard a loud thud as he fell over. He must have tripped trying to catch up to us with his crutches, but we had no intention of helping him up. I never want to see your face again. Goodbye. And so, Effie and I left him there. Later, the divorce went through smoothly, and I was able to claim damages in court. Word got around at his company, and he was suspended for using his work phone to contact his mistress. He eventually quit. The condo he bought to live with Effie was sold to pay the court-ordered damages. Now, he's left with a massive loan, job hunting and living day-to-day in a cheap apartment. As for Effie, she found a wonderful man and is in a relationship with marriage in mind. I can't help but wish her happiness. Life is so unpredictable. I never thought I'd find myself in a situation like this. I don't know what the future holds, but that's why I've decided to make the most of each day.